Hi, it's Ted from RepreZen. I'm with Tanya.
Hello.
Tanya is our lead developer on API Studio, and Tanya is going to be showing us some new features that we built around code generation. So we have a new model for generation targets. Is that right, Tanya?
Yes, that's right. And you can see it immediately when you create a new project or a new model. So let's start with creating a new RepreZen project, and you see that we have an addition to our standard wizard.
Aha. That's right. So we used to just think of code gen targets as being checkboxes. There were a few different things that you could create, but it was a limited palette and it wasn't really a part of your project. It was just a configuration option. So these look like they're new things that we're going to be adding to the project, right?
Yes, that's right. They're called gen targets, and they will enable you to generate different kind of artifacts.
Okay. So by
Yeah,
default, it just has these two, diagram and documentation. Can I add more?
you can, absolutely can. And even more, don't worry if you forget to add some of them, because you can modify it later.
Okay.
Let's just create these three gen targets.
Okay.
And as always, we have our gen model open. But in addition to this, we have a gen targets folder generated with some nice files. And because we created new gen targets, it means that we can, gen stands for generation, so we can generate some artifacts. The way how you do it, you can either use the new toolbar menu, and if you select a model, it will show all available generation targets. So for example, we can create a diagram.
Yeah.
Or you can select this file with a gen extension. It's called gen target. So if you right click it, you will see a new action. It's called generate documentation. It will do the same thing as generate documentation from the toolbar.
Nice.
So it's pretty easy. And generate all action works as always. So if you click it, it will generate all available artifacts, all available gen targets.
Okay.
It's nice and easy. So what is it about the generation, the gen target file, the .gen file? If you open it, you'll see that it provides some information, something like source model. But most interestingly, you can modify the output directory. So it doesn't have to be here. You can move it elsewhere. And template parameters that you don't need right now.
Okay. So there are configuration parameters, or at least we have a placeholder here, even though we don't have meaningful configuration parameters on the diagram gen target yet. It looks like we have a placeholder where we could put, for example, a different Bootstrap theme, right? If I wanted to generate it with a Bootstrap theme of my choice instead of the default one. That's something that we might consider adding as a configuration parameter here, right?
Yes.
Does this mean that I could create two different diagrams with different generation options? That's something I couldn't do in the old version, right? I could only have one diagram generated. Could I do two? Could I create a new diagram gen target and just add it to my project?
Yes, let's create a new diagram gen target right now. So as I mentioned earlier, the gen target that you select in the new project or new model wizard, they're not final. You can always add more.
Okay.
So I just opened the new generation target wizard, and we can choose a gen template. We have 4 gen templates available here for diagram, JSON schemas, regular documentation. And Ted, you wanted to create a new gen template, gen target for diagram, right?
Yeah.
So the source file then model is pre-populated because it's the only Zen model in this project. Let's leave it like this. And
so we probably want to give this one a different name, right?
Yeah. And I will click finish, and here it is. So
Cool.
it's another gen target for the same gen template, for the diagram gen template.
Okay. So theoretically, if we had the ability to select different Bootstrap themes, I could have 2 different diagrams, each with its own Bootstrap theme.
That's right.
Very nice.
Or titles or images or whatever you want to customize.
Okay, great.
So these things here, we call them generation targets. So this is how they describe where you want to, how and where you want to generate your artifacts using your predefined gen templates. So you saw that by default you can create gen targets for diagram, documentation, Swagger, or JSON schema, but you can also define your own gen templates. So we have a new concept. It's called generation template, gen template. Mm-hmm. This is your custom or our predefined generator. Let's call it, I don't know, how do you want to call it instead?
So why don't we call this RAML gen template?
Just RAML. Mm-hmm.
So this will be a custom generator for RAML API description. Hey, Tanya, when you selected this, I noticed that it was something called an Xtend gen template you were creating. What does Xtend mean? Why is this an Xtend gen template?
So currently, Xtend gen template, Xtend, this is a language, also a template language, which looks like this. So this is the generated file. And inside this file, you will get a link to the documentation and to get some more information about this Xtend language. Mm-hmm. But briefly, you can describe, it's a template, so you describe what you want to get. It also provides you a way to iterate, to loop over elements like for loops or if conditions or other powerful expressions.
So we're looking at a template here.
Yeah.
With the blue background, I guess, is just static template code, but it's got these embedded control structures and variables in it, like model name.
Yep.
And this is a full-fledged language, right? I mean, it looks a little Java-like at the top, but this is not actually Java source, right? It's Xtend as its own language, correct?
That's right. So it's based on JVM, and even more, it's translated to pure Java. And the company which makes it position it's something like Java 9 or Java 10. I don't remember which one. So it's a language which provides you with all the features of Java, mm-hmm. and also it gives some things like lambda expressions or powerful switch expressions, and so on.
Cool. So I was going to say we get the best of both worlds, but it's really kind of 3 worlds, isn't it? Right? We have a templating language, we have a powerful JVM-based language, and then we also have access to other Java code we could also import and execute here, right?
Yes, that's right. So you can use your existing Java code or methods or API, whatever you already have.
That's lovely. That's great. Thank you.
This is the default template. Of course, we can modify it. I don't know, like background color. Do you want to change the background color, Ted? Or?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's make it blue. It might look hideous, but hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is obviously this is a template for. It's going to generate a little bit of HTML. Mm-hmm. We want to change that template so it's RAML code, but we can pretend for the moment that it's generating RAML instead of HTML.
Yeah, we can introduce further modifications to this gen template, but for now, let's just try to use what we have just defined.
Okay.
To use it, it's very important. You have to build this project. You can use the build project in the context menu, or you can, it takes some time. You can, if you enable build automatically, it will do the trick, or similar, you can clean this project. But it's very important that you build the gen template project.
Okay.
And after that, it will be available in our new generation target wizard.
Wow.
So here it is.
So that was fast. That was, I guess even with all the talking we did, it was probably just 3 or 4 minutes to create a new gen template and then create a new gen target in my project based on that template.
Yeah, it's really fast to customize it too. You will see it in a minute.
Okay.
Let's try to run it. So generate, and we have
and there's my blue background.
Yeah, that's the background as you wanted. There. Be
careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So let's. We already showed you the Xtend, the main template Xtend file. This is where you can define what you want to get in your file. In the root of this project, there is another helpful file which is generated. It's called readme.md. It will give you some other tricks or useful information on how to customize your templates. So, for example, the first part, it describes how you customize the contents, and then how do we want to change file name, because our initial idea was to generate RAML file, not HTML. So we'll have to go to config.json file. And this file defines what you want to generate and where. So if you want to change extension to txt, for example, or my model name.
We call these output templates, right? If I'm remembering correctly. We're defining an output template that maps the Xtend template to an output file, following this pattern.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's try with this modification. Again, we have to build it. I think this time it was faster. And because we already have the RAML gen file defined, no need to create a new gen target. It will be updated. And we have our txt file.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe the last piece of information that I wanted to talk about today is, it's also described in the README file, is that what if you want to define several templates? Because in our case, we have just one output file, but we can have several. I'll just copy and paste it. And for a simple case, I will. And in that case, the pattern is the same. You provide the name or a path to the template, and you provide the name of the output file. And in that case, several files will be generated, as many as you want to.
Tanya, this is great. This is really exciting stuff, and I know you and the team are still working on new features for this. It's not done yet, but this is already a major step ahead of where we were before. So finally, I can start working on custom code gen. Can't wait. Thank you for the demo. Talk to you later.
Thank you.